style that he uses was pitch perfect for this type of story, this type of screenplay, because had he just gone in chronological order, you would have missed out. You wouldn't have been able to see the story layered through different characters' motivations and get their side of the story. And not just that, I think what made it an award-winning screenplay is how it was almost like a joke where you have a setup and then the punchline, setup, punchline. So he would be in one part of history, maybe 3 years in the future, where someone will ask a question and then a character will give a hint and then they will go back in time and answer that question. And then transition back. Then they would say something and leave us sort of hanging. We'd go back to the deposition 3 years in the future or however far it was. And that would fill us in on what they were talking about. And so you're going back and forth is, again, a lot like comedy writing. We'll go back to that video we watched earlier and pick it up there, and you'll see what I'm talking about when Eduardo is pointing out how he got squeezed out of the money.
Your shares diluted. How much were his?
What was Mr. Zuckerberg's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
What was Mr. Moskowitz's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
What was Sean Parker's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
What was Peter Thiel's ownership share diluted down to?
It wasn't.
And what was your ownership share diluted down to?
0.03%.
You signed the papers. You set me up. You're gonna blame me because you were the business head of the company and you made a bad business deal with your own company?
Another reason I think he chose this style is because in a story like this, it's easy to lose the thread when you have so many characters and things happening at one point in history that don't pay off until later. So, I mean, yes, you could be a sophisticated viewer or reader and you can, okay, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that conversation. But if you could put them back to back, now you have the conversation, then you see the betrayal back to back, you can understand that part of the story and then move on. And so you're digesting this big story in little chunks, like little bites, rather than chronologically where you have all these setups and then they pay off later, but then maybe you forgot about one of the setups, so it doesn't make sense or it doesn't have the same impact. And I think that's what he was going for. One of the things I was sort of surprised about that Sorkin